Get him. Get him. There we go. That's what we like. Oh, yes, this weapon is so nice. It has a decent weight to it as well. It feels heavy when you utilize it, and I think that's quite nice. Well, this is going to be kind of amusing, yes. Well, if you can see in the distance there, we do have an army that is attempting to besiege Rovolt, and, well, I can't really do much about it. I can, but it would probably result in either a defeat for our army, or it would result in many casualties. Welcome back to our Sturgian Viking playthrough, and we are going to be apparently making peace with the Aserai here, and there's a very good reason why I actually started the episode here too, because there is maybe a Sturgian army coming over to potentially... Oh, no, Fafan is actually going the other way. Oh, okay. I actually thought that he was going to come over here, and then we would have a pretty decent time of things, but we're just going to auto-resolve this real quick. As you can see, 23 casualties, really not too bad. Especially considering we can just instantly take the castle. It saves a huge amount of time and effort for us, and I can then spend more time on the world map, potentially controlling things, and maybe indeed even assisting people. Now, you've seen here that Mr. Amorcon is doing a very good job in taking our walls down. Oh. Did he really just stop? That is a very strange decision. I have no idea why he decided to do that. I think that that is hilarious on every different level that you can even think of, because he could have taken this very simply, actually, but apparently he didn't want to. That is kind of weird. All right, I'm going to be taking this just literally because this is right next to the town, and it makes sense. So, just going to basically be taking all of these, Rovolt, Tirby Castle, and I hope we'll be able to take Ostican as well. It looks as though Fafan's army might be coming a little bit closer, and as you can see, Amorcon has started his siege once again, and this is what we currently have in the garrison there. We have 322. Don't know whether the caravans actually add to that, but I don't think so. So the garrison and the militia are going to combine for that number, and you can see here that Fafan is actually coming along. Look at that. He has 443 units in his army. Oh, it looks as though the Vlandians have now started to hemorrhage vassals from their cohesion decay. This is great. This is absolutely perfect timing. And, well, speaking of perfect timing, the Brotherhood of the Woods has now left Sturgia. I don't really mind about that too much. But yes, we have Morcon, Amorcon, and a number of other people. They're actually going to try to get into Ostican's garrison. Pretty sure that that is the way it will be. And we're going to... Oh! He called for an army again. All right. Well, obviously, as you know, I probably wouldn't have been able to engage any of these guys because they're all going to be, well, suffice it to say, helping each other. They're going to be so close to each other that it's going to be very difficult. But if I can get Fafan to come over here for us to actually, you know, maybe get him into a battle situation. Okay, here we go. He's actually doing it. Oh, got him. Oh, that was a nice one. Oh, yes. And that was with a one-handed, if you can believe it. Oh, ow. Did I seriously get hit in the neck? Come on. What are they doing to me? That is crazy. Okay, well... oh, for some reason, they're so good, you know. They're so good at doing that stuff. It is very frustrating. It's so frustrating that they're so good. Okay, so let's see what I can do here. I'm going to move my infantry into range. You can see that our combat strength against Mr. Amorcon is actually pretty good with Fafan alongside us. And yeah, we're gonna try and move closer here. Let's just tell my people to charge in, and my archers are relatively close by, but obviously they are so incredibly few in number that it really makes no difference whatsoever, to be honest. So let's just tell everyone to charge in now. And that actually reminds me, I do have to make another two-handed axe. I feel like making another two-handed axe is probably going to be quite fun, because we made a one-handed in the previous episode, and this is the one I'm using right now, and it's actually pretty good. I like it quite a bit, actually, so I would like to be able to maybe utilize my skills to maybe make a two-handed one that can actually do additional damage, maybe be a little bit better in terms of speed or reach or whatever it may be. and we'll see how it goes. But so far, everything seems to be going swimmingly, and I don't think we really have to worry too much about anything right now. So I can just run at the opponent with reckless abandon, and maybe I do need to actually consolidate our forces a little bit here, because as you can see, they might be getting a little bit overzealous in the way that they're running after the opponent. I'd like to try and get everyone into similar positionings and then tell them to charge in once again so that they can actually charge against the same opponent rather than charge after units that are already routing. That's something that I very much have noticed in my time with Bannerlord, where if the enemy is routing due to low morale and your units are charging at them, you're probably going to split your forces pretty badly, and as a result, it's going to make everything just that much more difficult, especially if you are in a close battle. You know, because these close battles, they require a lot of strategic movement, and it may not seem like that, obviously, you know, considering we have the advantage in combat strength. Any single time you have the advantage in combat strength, it can quickly turn. You know, if you have a, I don't know, let's say you have 55% of the total combat strength, and you're like, okay, well, I have an advantage, so should be okay, shouldn't have to use any strategy, you know, that kind of thing. That generally is where my mind tends to go sometimes, you know, that is just human nature, I suppose, maybe. It really depends on who you are, I suppose, but anyway. Point is, you have a small advantage, you tend to take a couple of liberties, and you don't really want to do that, especially when the enemy may have some good units coming in from reinforcements and so on. So generally tending to, shall we say, take care of your unit's formations is definitely a very good way to go, because if, as I say, they charge after 1 or 2 units and there's 20 of your guys charging after them, and then that's 20 of your guys that, oh, Morcon's dead, wow, 20 of your guys that are not going to help in the battle, but there you go, Morcon is dead. Oh, I'm actually extremely pleased about this. Well, maybe I shouldn't be, to be honest, because he is indeed one of Dirthart's sons. I'm not entirely sure how they react to this kind of thing, you know, whether Dirthard is going to enter some kind of enraged state or something like that as a result of us basically killing one of his family, but, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway, let's take every single one of them prisoner. That is exactly what we're going to do. And I'm very much hoping that Fafan didn't lose too many units in that particular attack, because if he did, then we're going to have maybe some problems going forward here, because I was hoping that he might help us out with taking Ostican. No, it seems like he didn't lose pretty much anything. And Morcon's party has 0 people in it. He's obviously dead, so he's not going to be doing anything anymore. And can I get this guy before he goes in there? Yes, I locked him out. Because sometimes if you can get close enough to the enemy vassal before they go into the town, then they won't enter it, even if they are close enough to it to be able to go inside. So really, really good to get them trapped outside, pretty much. Alright, so basically, what do we want to do now? Well, Ostican has almost 900 units. That's actually pretty significant. But now that we have eliminated the Vlandian army in this area, we should have a much easier time of going over to basically anywhere we want. We could pretty much go... Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Hello? Ah, some minor factions, yes. That is generally what tends to happen. Minor factions, mercenary companies, and so on, they tend to gravitate around these other factions that are having significant problems with their opponents. And in this case, of course, that is indeed the Vlandians. So, yes, kind of frustrating that they generally tend to gain a lot of temporary combat strength just purely by inviting these minor factions and mercenary companies to join them. But anyway, I'm going to try and see if I can go over to Caer Banseth. Why is this guy running away from the Karakurgit? You shouldn't run away from the Karakurgit, sir. You're a very powerful army, but I think he knows that he can't possibly catch up to them. That's probably the reason. These guys are wanting to attack me, probably because most of my army is completely wounded. Yeah, they would probably be able to beat me if I actually went in there right now. So probably not the best idea because Karakurgit, as we know, are fantastic when it comes to cavalry units. Okay, well, Careban Seth only has 3,200 gold. I'm not going to be able to do basically anything here. However, I will be able to go into the smithy and maybe we can either smelt some stuff for some new parts. I did that in the previous episode as well, and seemed to work out quite nicely because it did enable us to use our first tier 5 axe head for the two-handed, for the one-handed, should I say. Yes, I'm thinking so much about the two-handed axe at the moment that I'm just like, oh yes, two-handed. Yes, that's exactly what we want to do. So let me see if I can... Ooh, a pointy warsword. Nice. I'm liking that. Thank you very much. All right, so let's take a look here. I'd like to be able to make shields. You know that? I feel like that would be a really cool addition to the game where you can make shields, where you can make armor, where you can basically make anything, and then you can, you know, do something like become a merchant and literally just have completely self-sustained smithing. And I think that would be actually quite fun. Obviously, smithing at the moment is just weapons, which is absolutely fine, but I think it would be really cool if they added in a way to make armor and stuff like that. All right, so long glaive head. Ooh, I'm liking this. Oh, I like the way that that looks. I certainly do. Yeah, well, I'm not going to be making that right now because obviously that doesn't really fit with our current character, but this... Oh, yeah, this is nice. I'm liking the look of that. All right, unfortunately, we don't have any tier 5. I'd love the heavy Bardiche head, by the way. That is probably going to be my favorite weapon if I can ever get a hand of it, or get a hold of it, shall we say. I was going to say get my hands on it, and then I was like, get a hand on it? No, get a hold of it? Yes, okay. Kind of works. Anyway, let's see if we can go for something. I think this one is probably going to be the best handle that we can go for. Maybe this one? I want a good swing speed, but I also want it to be really good in terms of weapon reach. So I'm thinking this one is probably going to be good enough, and I can maybe reduce... yeah, this is going to be pretty good because it still gives me 121 weapon reach, which is significant, but it also gives me a good amount of swing speed as well, because as you can see, if I increase it all the way, it does give me 143 weapon reach, but that's a bit too much for my purposes. Don't really need it that long. So swing speed 77 is decent. Handling is okay as well. Swing cutting damage 123. What about this? Can I do something with this? This is actually pretty good. If I reduce the head size, that's pretty good too. Swing speed 80 and increasing the handling by a pretty significant amount, and we only lose 4 damage, so I'm pretty happy with making it the smallest it can be. And then we'll go ahead here and we'll see what else we can do. Should I call it something else to do with Alterac Valley? Yeah, why not? Let's go for Frostwolf. There we go. Done. All right, so we're almost 150 smithing, but that's not really necessary for me at the moment. I'm not really a big fan of, well, I don't really need it, you know, don't really need the skill. But let's have a look and actually see whether this is any good, because you can kind of tell if something's any good from a glance. Let me see, where is it? There it is. Oh, it's actually pretty good. Not bad. Look at that. The swing speed of our current axe is, of course, better, as well as the handling. But we do gain some significant, well, I was going to say significant length, but we only gain 3. But we do gain decent swing damage. I don't know. We're going to try it out and see what happens. It is a bill, however, which is obviously not very in keeping with being a Viking, but I'm going to see how it goes. Maybe it's going to be really fun to utilize. Well, look what we have at our disposal here. Cervic is wanting to join us, and, well, I, hilariously enough, I actually succeeded with a 20% chance persuasion on the first conversation option. There was only one option, of course, because he doesn't really like us that much. And as you can see, I can literally give him 161,000, which obviously is pretty cheap for me at the moment. I have 2.59 million, so I might as well, right? Might as well. And there you go, he's joined. So that's quite nice. I mean, I don't really know how effective this is really going to be, because he actually doesn't bring anything of value with the exception of his faction over to us. You know, his clan is going to be the only thing that really helps us out. And he doesn't have any territory or anything like that, which is absolutely fine, because personally, I'm not going to do that anymore, where I recruit someone and then I try to treat them really, really well and try to give them all kinds of fiefs and everything, because it's just going to end up the same way that we've seen in the past, where people just go backstab, backstab, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to just leave them the way they are when they join us, and if there's any vote that is significantly in favor of giving them something, then I'm just going to abstain from that particular vote, and we'll see what happens in regards to the AI actually giving them something, because I think that might be quite interesting. Anyway, let's see what happens at Ostican here. I only have 330 units, or, well, technically 349. Ooh, yeah. I might need to do something a little bit about that. So let me see if I can maybe call for a couple of people. Let's call for Cervic himself. That's going to be quite funny, isn't it? I'm just going to literally call for him to siege something of his previous faction, and then he's going to be like, oh, I've lost my entire army. I better betray these Sturgians and try to backstab. Oh, I've only got 10 units in my army. Oh, I can't really do anything about that. You know, that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping for right here, because if he indeed does lose a significant amount of his army, then he can't really do much against us, even if he does defect. So I'd be pretty happy with that, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to try for some trebuchets here, because obviously we do have a number of vassals in our army right now, and that's probably going to be quite significant in terms of the speed increase, because as far as I can tell, engineering does get improved by having more people in your army. And it seems extremely slow when I don't have additional vassals. So that's actually pretty cool, in my opinion. Alright, so the third trebuchet is just about to be built, and I'm going to do my new strategy, basically, where we just place out 3 trebuchets while the 4th one builds, and try to get all the siege equipment destroyed before that, before anything happens. Also, I just saw Ospia run by us, and you know how many units he has? 29. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him, but apparently, yeah, he has not had any time or, well, any money, maybe, to actually create a significant army. So, pretty happy with that, to be honest. And, oh yeah, I do need to do that myself as well, where I award a whole bunch of vassals a massive amount of influence, because as you can see right here, I have 4,600, which is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy, so I should really utilize it in some way that is actually useful. So you know what? Let me actually just do that now. Does anyone have a small amount? Yeah, these guys have a small amount. So let's give them a massive amount of influence, because they are part of Sturgia for a very lengthy period of time. And let's give Keisha a little bit for her faction as well. And then these guys, well, not really so much, because they're from Vlandia, so we probably don't want to do anything with them. And these guys can actually have a little bit too. And maybe Fafan as well. There we are. And that is great. So we still have 1,400, which is more than enough to do whatever we really desire with it. And how are the walls doing? 38,000 so far. All right, let's build another trebuchet, because one has already gone down, which is to be expected. Can we kill these ballistas, please? It seems like they're having difficulties killing the ballistas. Not entirely sure where all the accuracy of my trebuchets has currently gone, because usually they're pretty good at destroying them. But for some reason their accuracy has now gone down the plug hole, pretty much. I'm not entirely sure why, but oh well. Now this is going just that little bit better. I decided to throw in a fire onager as well as 3 trebuchets, and that seems to be going quite a bit better, because the onager can indeed kill the enemy ballistas relatively fast, because it does have a fast fire rate in comparison to the trebuchets, and it seems to be nullifying, for the most part at least, a number of their shots. So I'm pretty happy with this, and we're just going to wait a little bit of time until it turns to night, and then we'll be leading the assault, because obviously we very much know that at nighttime, ranged units do tend to be a little bit more inaccurate, especially considering, look at this, it's also snowing. Oh, could it get any better? Could it get any better? I don't know. Maybe it could, maybe it couldn't. Anyway, let's see. Where's that fire onager? I would have liked to have gone on it, to be honest. But I don't know whether I can... You know, I should have probably tried to find it while I was looking at the overview. Is it over here? I know that it's probably going to be close to some blockades, but... well, never mind. You know what? I should probably just test out my new two-handed weapon. That's probably going to be preferable in this situation, especially considering it's quite dark. I'm not going to really be able to find too much in the dark here. Anyway, I'm actually going to tell my people to charge in here, because it seems like... What? These guys are having some weird pathing issues? I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. Oh! What happened? Did you hear that? I'm not entirely sure if you heard that. I hope you did. But it seemed like some kind of explosion occurred. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is nice. Oh, I like this weapon a lot. Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, yeah. This is a bit problematic though, because I am actually fighting on the right side of our units, and that's actually opening myself up to huge amounts of damage from the ranged, so it's good that we maybe got out of there a little bit. Didn't take too much damage because our armor is pretty good. Get him. Get him. There we go. That's what we like. Oh, yes, this weapon is so nice. It has a decent weight to it as well. It feels heavy when you utilize it, and I think that's quite nice because it does give you that impact, you know, it gives you the impact that you're actually dealing damage. Oh, seems like we've actually lost our first wave. Did we literally lose our first wave of units? That's a bit harsh. That is indeed a bit harsh, but I think we should be all right. Oh, are we? Let's help him. Get him. Get that guy. Oh, yeah, there we go. You're coming out again now, sir. Ah, yes, there we are. You're dead. And there we go. You're dead too. Very nice. Let's try and help out whoever this is. This is Valkalva. Valkalva is actually one of our vassals, and we're helping her fight here. This is pretty cool. Okay, I like this. What is actually going on with those explosions? Do you hear that? It must be... Wait a minute. It must be the fire onager, right? It must be the fire onager that is firing at the moment, and they seem to be attacking our own units. Have you noticed? Look at this. Look at the top right. They seem to be killing Sturgians. Well, that's kind of amusing. I mean, I'm not going to say no to a little bit of amusement, but still, that is probably not the best idea, considering we don't really want to lose huge amounts of units to our friendly fire. That's going to be pretty awful. Anyway, there you go. The enemies are now fleeing, and we lost a grand total of 18 units, and most of them were, in fact, my units, which is absolutely fine. I actually have no problem with that, because that means that all of my vassals that are currently with me are going to stay at full strength or near to full strength, and then we can pretty much just be like, oh, you want to go and kill that thing? You want to go and form your own army? Be my guest. And then they can go on and they can do massive damage to whoever else. Anyway, Ostican, let's take a look at how much they have. Oh, yeah, they have a decent amount. Very nice indeed. Okay, 13,000. Bear in mind, I still have a massive amount of loot, and I'm not entirely sure how to offload it all. I have been going to every single town marketplace that I pass by, and every single time if they have any additional cash above 10,000, I usually try to get it. And, well, this is what happens. Look at this. Look at this insanity. You got so much stuff right there. All right, so that is going to be it for Ostican. We've taken it. And, oh, what's this? Who's that? Okay, yeah, no, we don't want to bother about him. Let's just disband the army. That's what we're going to do. And then we'll just take him out the old-fashioned way. Very nice. Get him all in the combat there. And there we go. All right, fantastic. Now that we've taken this, what do we want to do? I actually don't know, because I think the Vlandians will probably be making peace relatively shortly, because most of their vassals have been indeed taken prisoner by us, and I don't think they can really do anything now. I think they pretty much don't have any opportunities left. So let me actually just see. There was a little pop-up there, so let's see whether that is indeed the case, whether they're asking for peace now. No, just voting for the new owner of Ostican. And I will indeed be taking this for myself. I know this is being super greedy, but I'm doing this for a very specific reason, because if I have an additional area that I can utilize to serve as my landing point, or my launching point, shall we say, to attack additional targets, which is exactly what this small area is here. So I'm going to be attacking Oxhall, Tirby Castle, Praven, and Draphound Castle, and so on, and so on, and so on. Then I don't need to travel all the way back into Sturgian territory to do what I need to do, and it just makes everything so much easier. So now that I have these, I won't be taking anything else, basically. These things right here, that's going to be my central base of operations for the attacks against Vlandia until they deem it necessary to make peace with us, of course. And then whenever we attack an additional target, whether that be Southern Empire, Khuzait, Western Empire, whatever the case may be, if we do indeed end up taking some stuff, I see. Seems like we might need to focus on the Khuzait a little bit. They seem to be encroaching in the north. I'm not a big fan of that, thank you very much, so we're going to have to do something about that too. It's good that I looked up there, because otherwise I would have missed it. But otherwise, yes, as I was saying, if we do go to attack an additional faction. I'm sorry, I got distracted by his beard coming through his chainmail. I mean, are you serious? That is hilarious. Anyway, yes. I will hopefully be able to form another kind of outpost, if you will, in those particular areas. So, for example, if I were to take Varnovopol back, I'd probably try to ask for that, so I can use that as a launching pad against the northern territories of the Khuzait. And then if we take something else down here, like Onira, then I'll probably ask for that to try and use that as a launching pad into the south and into the other outlying areas of the Southern Empire as well. And then the same thing, of course, with the Azerai. So if we take Sanala, for example, then I'll take that, and then it will, that's basically my plan, at least going forward. And hopefully it's going to work out quite nicely. But the Khuzait are encroaching, and I am going to need to do something about that. So we're probably going to be heading up there if the Vlandians make peace. I think we have a decent amount of time still left over for us to be able to focus on the Vlandians, even if the Khuzait take another town. I think I should have enough time to be able to, well, hopefully fix all of the problems that are going on in Sturgia right now. But there's a brief overview of the map. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. It is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.